Okay, guys, let me help you with this graph, especially this one, right? Because this is what you asked me in class many times. And I want to record this because if I explain to you in class, you might forget about it. Let me put that here. I think I did it. Not here. Let's put it. 1 second. Let's see. I don't know where I put it. Doesn't matter. Oh, here it is. So this is the one you ask, right? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is the one you ask, right? So the first thing you have to do is do the same thing that you always do, right? Try to find, try to factor that b factor, this part, right? And yeah, so if you factor that out, you get, you can do pi times x, that's pi x, and pi times negative 1/4 is negative pi over 4, right? So the period is going to be 2 pi over b, which is just 2, right? And 1/4 units to the right is the phase shift. Okay. So basically you just graph the function as you will normally do. Now, the period is 2, right? So that means from the starting value of the phase shift, which is 1/4, you're gonna add 2, which is the same as 8 over 4. If you add those together, you get 9 over 4. So that's one period, right? From 1/4 to 9 over 4, that's one period. And I can do the same thing from 1/4 to negative 9/4, right? So that will be another period. Let me do the graph for you together at the same time, so after that you know what's going on, okay? Actually, let me do that somewhere else, so then after that we just compare this graph. Okay, so let me copy this. Let me put it all the way here. Okay. So I need to graph this one. Let's start from scratch. So yeah, like I said before, you need to factor, right? Cosine, you're gonna factor pi, and this is gonna be x minus 1/4, right? That's the first thing you should do. Once you have that, then you find the period, right? The period is 2 pi over b. 2 pi over, in this case, b is just a pi. So the period is 2. The phase shift is 1/4 units to the right, right? Okay. Once you figured out the phase shift and you know the period, you just graph, right? I mean, you graph. They want you to graph 2 periods, right? Let me do that. 1 second. So this is 1/4 is the phase shift, and you need to add 1 period to that, right? So 1/4 plus 2. 1/4 is the same, and 2 is the same as a over 4. Finding common denominator, 4 here and 4 here, right? That will be 8 over 4. So that's going to be 9/4. So you can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9/4 is here. Between those two is 5/4, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. And between these two is 3 pi over 4. And here is 7 pi over 4. Right? That's one period, and you do the same thing here. So this is going to be negative 1 over 4, negative 3 over 4. I'm sorry if I said pi. I don't know where I get pi from. There's no pi here. It's just a fraction, okay? Negative 5 over 4, negative 7 over 4, and then negative 9 over 4, okay? Negative 9 over 4. So there you go. That's 2 periods, right? Now you need to graph it. Remember, you start now from pi over 4, right? So this is from 1 to negative 1, right? There's no vertical stretch here. Yeah, so you start from 1/4. This is cosine. So you start from 1, then you go here, then you go here, then you go here, and then you go here. That's 1 period right there, right? And then for the next, let's give them grade everything. And then the next will be here, 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 and here, right? So now you trace this. Okay, so that's the graph. Now, you're gonna ask yourself this question. That graph is done already. The only thing you need to ask yourself is, well, this is the absolute value of this function, right? So whatever you see negative or whatever is below the x-axis, basically, that have to be shifted, right? Or that have to be reflected in a positive direction. So what I mean is this must be like this, and this must be like this. Okay? And that's it. That's the only thing you need to do. So because I graphed the ones below, you need to disappear that, right? So that means you need to trace it one more time. So it will be like this, the graph. Okay? That's it. Okay? If you want to do another 11 pi over 4, like it will be like this. Okay? That's it. That's that graph. Anything else you need to mention here? Nothing. Right? I was asking, they said that you don't need to worry about too much about the asymptotes. They want you basically just to define the graphs, and you need to explain the basic things like the phase shift, the vertical stretch, horizontal stretch, and all that kind of stuff, right? You need to explain that stuff. But other than that, I mean, you just need to explain this kind of behavior, right? So that's it. That's how you do this cosine pi x minus pi over 4. Then someone asked me in the class to do all that sheet, right? All that sheet, this part. So the next question was, let me see. The next question is this one, right? Tangent, this thing, okay? Okay, let's see. I think I remember what it is. Just in case it's negative tangent, right? So I think I did that already somewhere. Yeah, here. I did it already. Okay, so let's start from scratch because I want you to understand. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so they want you to graph this function. First of all, you can write this as, because this is an odd function, you can write it as negative tangent x. That's the first thing you should do, okay, to make it simple. So you know how this graph look like. You know already, this is very simple. This is basic parent function. So you can say that this is negative pi over 2. Let me try to make it nice. Negative, and they want you to do 2 periods, right? So negative pi over 2, pi over 2. Well, I can say that this is okay, let's say 1. and then -1. Okay, and you know that this is the asymptote here, and the asymptote here. Okay, now you know that tangent of 0, if you plug 0 here in the function that I just made, that's going to be 0, right? Tangent of 0 is 0. And 0 times -1 is 0 anyway. I'm talking about this, right? If you plug here 0, you get tangent 0, which is 0. And you have the negative in front. -1 times 0 is 0 still, right? So the graph should look like this. Now, let's put something in between. If you put pi over 4 here and negative pi over 4 here, you know that tangent pi over 4, if you put tangent pi over 4, you know that that's equal to 1, right? Because this is the same as 45 degrees. That's 1. But in reality, because of the reflection, it's going to be -1. So you're going to be here. And if you do tangent negative pi over 4, right? If you do tangent negative pi over 4, you know that this well, you have the negative outside, so this is odds. So negative times negative, it's going to be tangent pi over 4. You know that tangent pi over 4 is 1, and negative makes a positive, so that's going to be a 1. So that's here. So this is your graph. Sorry about that. This is your graph. It looks like cotangent, right? But it's not cotangent. Then the other one, you need one more period, right? So just add one more period. Pi over 2 plus pi, right? So plus pi, that's the same as pi over 2 plus 2 pi over 2, right? So that's going to be 3 pi over 2. So that's the next asymptote, right? So the next asymptote, so pi over 2, 3 pi over 4 pi. So let's put that here. Pi over 2, 3 pi over 4 pi, and then 3 pi, 5 pi over 4, and then 3 pi over 2. That's where the asymptote is located. So that's your second period, right? Now graph, right? Now graph. So you can do the same thing, right? So tangent pi. So you put tangent pi. You know the tangent pi has coordinates -1 and 0. And you know the tangent is y over x. So if you do y over x, that's 0, over -1, that's 0. And 0 times negative is 0, right? So you're going to end it up here. And then if you put the next one, you put tangent 5 pi over 4. You know that tangent pi over 4, that means that we are in the third quadrant, right? So that's going to be 1, because negative and negative, it's the cosine, sine over cosine, both are negative, so that's going to be positive. And tangent 5 pi over 4 is coterminal with pi over, I mean, well, it's the same kind of measurement for than pi over 4. So that's going to be 1, right? But because you have the negative in front, that's going to be -1. So that means that we're here again. And then if you put 3 pi over 4, we're going to be in what quadrant? We're going to be in the second quadrant, right? So that's going to be y is positive, but x is negative, or y over x, that's going to be negative. And that's going to be -1 times -1, that's going to be +1. So that means that we're here. So this is the graph. That's it. You're done. You are done with this graph. Those are the 2 periods there. Nothing else to say. What else can you say? What is the amplitude? You can say, okay, the amplitude is just 1 anyway, or 1, -1. It's going to be 1 anyway. Then what is the period? The period here is just pi, right? Pi over b, but in this case it's just 1, right? Pi over 1 is just pi. What else? There's no phase shift. You can say phase shift, none, right? What else can you say? if they're asking you for asymptotes, you know how to find that, right? I mean, I don't need to explain that because I talk about that in class already. That's it, right? I mean, then there's nothing else to do here. That's it. We're done. Next graph. Somebody asked me for the other problem. I remember. What is the other problem? This one. Okay, let's go back to here. This one is basic, right? This one we did many times in the class. This one. Sorry. Not that one. I forgot what it was. Y equals something. This guy. But I think it wasn't written that way. Okay, I can do it in the other sheet anyway. Okay, I can do it here. No problem. But I want to graph it nicely. That's the reason I need to do it. Okay, good. Okay, now I can do it. Sorry about the back and forward, but if I don't do that, then after that you don't get it. Okay, so y equals -3 sine, I'm gonna rewrite this, negative sine 2x plus 1. Now you know how this thing look like. The amplitude is the absolute value of -3, which is 3 here. And here you're gonna have a midlight, right? You're gonna have a midlight. So this guy is gonna be a vertical shift 1 unit up, right? So first of all, I need to do my graph, right? There's gonna be a horizontal compression, right? Of 2 units. So remember, you do 1 minus -3, that's 4 to do your upper and lower bound, and 1 minus 3, which is going to be -2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the upper bound, and the lower bound is -2. The midlight is at 1. Okay. So it kind of makes sense because if you go up from 1, 1, 2, 3 units up, if you go from 1, 1, 2, 3 units down, that's the reason it's called midlight. Midline, right, is 1 here, right? Midlight, it's x equals 1, right? That's the reason it's a vertical shift of 1 unit, right? You don't need to say that, okay? But I'm just saying that you need to know that. So yeah, this is the midlight. Okay, now you need to find the period. The period equals 2 pi over b. So that's going to be pi. So that means that this is a compression. There's no phase shift. So think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1 period. Then we can say here pi over 2, then here pi over 4. Here we can say 3 pi over 4. And the same story on the other side, right? Negative pi over 4, negative pi over 2, negative 3 pi over 4, and then negative pi. So that's 2 periods right there, right? Okay. Now I need to graph this graph, right? So, okay. Since there's no phase shift, you know that sine usually starts at 1, right? So I mean at 0. So I'm gonna start here anyway, right? However, instead of going up, I'm gonna go down because we have a reflection over the x-axis. So I'm gonna start here, then I'm gonna go back here, then here, and then here. That's 1 period, so I trace it. Okay. Now the other one, what I need to do? I need to go up, right? I need to because this is sine. So here, 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 and here. So you do this. Okay. So that's the second period. Okay. Now you're done. I mean, there's nothing else to do. You did a midnight. You went up, down, and that's basically it. That's all you have to do. So you find the amplitude, you found the period. You can say there's a horizontal compression of 2 units, right? Horizontal compression of 2. You can say like this, right? On the test, just do like that, horizontal compression of 2 units, right? Then you can say the period is pi, right? Midline, you can put here midline. When you highlight it, you can do that, midline. The midline should be y equals 1, right? Y equals 1. Y equals 1. Okay. What else? The reflection or the excess horizontal stretch. It is a vertical stretch. Vertical stretch of 3 units. Reflection over the x-axis. Okay. And remember, if you want to follow or order or something, you can say B, C, A, D, right? That's the order, right? B first, then the C, right? If you have this is what I mean. A sine B x plus C, right? Plus D, right? So that you can follow the order, the big cat stuff, right? And that's it. That's all it is. Thank you and good luck tomorrow on your test. Bye.